My name's Noah, and for most of my life, I dreaded family gatherings. Every barbecue reunion and backyard hangout felt like a reminder that, in my family's eyes, I was a disappointment, the one who never lived up to what he could have been. I wasn't a doctor like my cousin Evan or a business owner like my Uncle Rick. I just worked quietly, kept to myself, and most of them assumed I hadn't achieved much. What they didn't know was that I carried a secret, one that would eventually leave them all speechless. It all came to light at last year's 4th of July barbecue at my parents' house. Everyone was there, aunts, uncles, cousins, the usual mix of loud laughter, louder opinions, and subtle bragging. I showed up a little late after finishing up some work calls. I kept it simple, jeans, a plain t-shirt, nothing flashy. The goal was to blend in because, with my family, even innocent questions like how's work could easily turn into full-blown interrogations. I barely stepped into the backyard before Uncle Rick spotted me. "Well, if it isn't the Wanderer himself," he called out, grinning. "You still doing whatever it is you do?" I gave a polite smile. "Yeah, still at it." That vague response never satisfied him, which was exactly why I used it. Rick ran a successful auto dealership and made sure everyone knew it. He was the type of guy who measured success by the size of your paycheck and the brand on your wrist. He wasn't cruel, but his honesty could sting. Waving his beard toward me, he said loudly enough for everyone nearby to hear, "You're what, 32 now? Ever think about getting a real job? You're too smart to waste time on those little side projects." A few people chuckled, awkwardly. My mom tried to step in. "Rick, leave him alone. He's doing fine." But he didn't back down. "No offense, Noah," he said, "but you've been figuring things out since college. You're not a kid anymore. You need stability, not coffee shop freelancing." The word stung, though I'd heard worse. I just nodded and replied softly, "I'm doing okay, Uncle Rick." He smirked. "Okay doesn't pay the bills." Then, as if twisting the knife, added, "Look at Evan, already promoted to senior analyst. You could learn a thing or two from him." That one hit deeper than I expected. I excused myself, grabbed a drink, and slipped out the porch. A few minutes later, my cousin Evan followed. He was a good guy, ambitious, humble, kind. "Hey, man," he said, "don't take it to heart. You know how Uncle Rick gets." I nodded, forcing a smile. "Yeah, I know." What no one, not my parents, not my uncle, not even Evan, knew was that for the past 3 years, I've been quietly building a small tech startup. What started as a freelance side project had turned into something very real and very big. Just a week earlier, we'd signed a 7-figure contract with a national logistics company. I hadn't told anyone because I didn't care about attention or validation. I just wanted to create something that mattered. But fate, apparently, had a wicked sense of timing. About an hour later, my uncle's dealership manager, Trent, showed up. He was a family friend. But I recognized him instantly. We'd been in meetings together just last week. My startup had developed an AI-driven inventory management system, and guess which dealership group had just signed on to use it? Monroe Auto Group, Uncle Rick's business. Trent spotted me before I could slip away. "Noah," he said, surprised but smiling. "Didn't expect to see you here. The team's still talking about your software. That system's a total game changer." The whole backyard went silent. My uncle turned to me slowly. "Wait, what software?" Trent laughed. "You didn't tell them? Noah's company just closed a deal with us. He's the CEO of Ether Systems. We're rolling out his platform next month. Rick, your dealerships are about to get a serious tech upgrade." The silence that followed was golden. My uncle just blinked, trying to process. "You're that Noah?" he asked quietly. I nodded. "Yeah, Uncle Rick. That's me." His face turned red, not from anger, but from embarrassment. I didn't realize. You never said anything." I smiled faintly. "You never asked what I actually did. You just assumed it wasn't worth talking about." Evan burst out laughing and clapped me on the shoulder. "Dude, you've been holding out on us." Suddenly, the questions came flooding in, the kind no one had ever bothered to ask before. "What do you do exactly? How did you start? How big is your company?" My dad stood quietly nearby, pride gleaming in his eyes. My mom had tears. Uncle Rick tried to recover his composure. "Well," he said awkwardly, "looks like I underestimated you, kid. Guess we all start somewhere, huh?" I chuckled softly. "Yeah, I guess we do. And sometimes we end up farther than anyone expects." The rest of the evening completely flipped. Suddenly, I was the center of attention, the success story. But I didn't boast. I just enjoyed my burger, laughed with my cousins, and watched as Uncle Rick tried a bit too hard to be nice. When it was time to leave, he walked me to my car. "No, he said hesitantly, "I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have said those things earlier." I smiled. "It's okay, Uncle Rick. I'm not upset. You just reminded me why I work the way I do." Quietly, he nodded, then paused. "You've really done well for yourself. Your mom must be proud." "She is," I said softly. And honestly, that's all I ever needed. As I drove off, fireworks burst across the sky behind me. Fitting, really. For the first time, I didn't feel like the quiet, overlooked one at the family table. I wasn't chasing approval anymore. I had built something that spoke for itself. So yeah, my uncle's words had cut deep for a moment. But when the truth came out, I didn't need to defend myself. My work had already spoken louder than I ever could.